All right. Yeah, all right. How's it going, everybody? Dan got the Hephaestus, and it's a fun pedal. Yes, it is. I got a bunch of stuff on my desk right now, but we're just going to hang out. Going to play some Strat Pickups, the new prototype set, and do this thing. So, here we go. Okay. So first off, can everyone hear me? I've mixed up my desks and my camera's in a different spot, so I don't know where to look. So let me know if you can hear me talking and the guitar. Is it audible? Cool. And so I have ordered a new computer. And hopefully it's going to combat some noise, because I've got a gate on here, but you can hear a little of that sizzle, or I can. Hopefully you guys can. So, audio is slightly behind the video. Okay. Well, so that was something that I was having trouble with my other setup, but that required all sorts of wires, so I ditched that. So, sorry. When we do this moving forward, it's going to be more locked in, and hopefully having one computer with no dongles and all this stuff, and it's all just like plugged straight into it. That's going to help fight any lag or latency or any of that stuff. So yeah, but anyway, we'll just suffer through it. Just close your eyes, you know, if it's that offensive. But this is the new Fender Strat set. Fender Strat. It's a new Mythos Strat set, excuse me, for a Fender Stratocaster, or any Stratocaster that strikes your fancy. So what are they, right? So we partnered with Porter Pickups to do the humbucker set. They're in that Revolta right there behind me. And those have done incredibly well. We've sold a bunch of them, and the response has been overwhelmingly positive. And Porter said, why don't we try a Strat set next? And I said, sure, let's try it. And then subsequently, we did a poll, and of all the most common pickup types, Strats were dead last. But we already came up with an idea, and I had them in my hands, and I like them. So we're doing these next. So what are they, right? These are a reverse stagger set with a non-reverse wound middle pickup, so it doesn't cancel any hum. And the bridge, in addition to being, you know, reverse stagger for the magnets, also has a base plate and also uses a different gauge wire that gets a lot more turns, so you have a really good balance and punch and push in the bridge. This doesn't have that anemic thing that some Strat pickup sets have when you click down to the bridge. And it still sounds very Stratty, but it's just got like the power of kind of a low output P90 when combined with these relatively low output single coils. Gives you a really nice balance between all the pickup positions. So let me just run through a couple sounds. Today I'm playing the Strat set. This is an older Mexican 60s reissue Stratocaster that I got at Eastside. And all of that, currently I've got the 1347 down at the floor, and then going into the computer is my amp. So I'm using the Tone King Imperial plugin by Neural DSP. So that clean sound, that is just the Neural plugin. And I'm actually going to turn my headphones up a little bit so I can hear a little bit more guitar. So that's the basic gist of the sound we've got happening today. And let's run through the pickup positions here. So that's the neck. So it has an interesting kind of mid-range thing. It's clear. It might have a slight scoop sort of vibe without being, John Mayer-y or anything. In the 2 position, again, this is not going to cancel any noise. So here's the neck. 4. It's that classic sort of quacky sound. The middle position is the iconic middle position in a Strat sound. And I love this sound. I think it's a pickup that is often overlooked or underutilized on these style guitars. Just a really good funky sound that when you think about it, it's only on this guitar, right? Like, you cannot get that sound with anything else because it's this pickup in this position with this configuration. And I do play totally different on a Strat. Justin, you're right. I do not play Strats like I play Les Pauls or any other guitar. So going on to the second position. So again, here's the middle. Here's number 2. Ooh. Shake off the dust. There's the neck. Here's the 2. So again, it's that classic in-between thing that we all know and love. Let me go back to the neck, and then I'll click down to the bridge so you can hear the contrast between them. So here's the neck. Bridge. Neck. Bridge. Neck. Bridge. So it's a total different feel and vibe than what I'm normally accustomed to with the Stratocaster style guitar. I love the Hendrix thing, and so that's why we went with the reverse stagger on the magnets, because that, being that Hendrix played a right-handed guitar flipped over, and the magnets were, backwards or upside down rather, the stagger, because of his strings, it gives itself a totally different vibe, which when you play it in context, and maybe, I don't know if I'll get shut down if I play any Hendrixy stuff, but maybe we can fumble our way through some Hendrix-esque sounds. you can kind of hear like, oh, that makes sense. And in addition to that, I'm also using the Hendrix string gauge set, which is like a 10 and a 36 or something, but the B and the G string are very small. So it gives it a really slinky, interesting feel that's totally different. You know, if you're used to playing 10s or 11s or higher on a Stratocaster tuned down, and this is tuned down, but if you're used to that and you put these on it, it feels nothing like what you'd expect. But at my feet, we have the 1347, which is a Mass Street Music exclusive. Go check them out. This is my interpretation of the classic fuzz face circuit done how I like it. So shaved off a lot of the bass, and there's still a lot of bass. Shaved off a lot of the bass, smoothed things out, kind of blurred the line between germanium and silicon, and fixed a lot of the, in my opinion, inherent problems with a fuzz face. So if we go back up to the neck, I've got the fuzz not dimed, but turned really high up. Like there's this thing that happens on a fuzz face where you turn it all the way up and it starts hissing. You just turn it right back until that goes away. And that, in my opinion, is the sweet spot. And the volume is at about 1 o'clock or so. So here's the 1347 with the neck. Got a lot of noise today, so forgive me. And it does the cleanup thing. But it's not as... It's not as chimey and bright as like a normal fuzz face. I mean, it still does that cleanup thing. Am I going direct into the UA interface after the pedals? Yes. So the 1347 is going into my Apollo Twin using the Neural DSP Imperial plugin. But yeah, so that's the neck. Here's the bridge with the 1347. So has a little ZZ Top grit. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can escape it at this point. I tend to put a little, whatever the Billy Gibbons sauce is, I think it's just in my DNA, and I sprinkle it over everything. But so that's the 1347, and like it's just that classic. It's just that iconic sort of fuzz-facey sound without like having all the faults. Like there's this thing that happens, and you might have experienced this if you've ever gigged with a fuzz face style circuit and had it just loud. It needs treble, and like when you go back and you play something like I have the PRS HDRX 50 over there, and it's got all the the Hendrixy mods and stuff. It's bright. It's crazy bright, but when you're using a fuzz face like that, you need that clarity to cut through. Unless you've like rolled the volume back, if you want the full whack of the fuzz, you've got to turn it up. And so I think that what we kind of stumbled upon with this and the transistor pairing, it doesn't do that completely like rounded off sound that some fuzz faces get, you know, especially on on a bridge pickup sound. And if you just roll it back just a little bit, it doesn't clean up quite as quickly, which I think is really important. Brad is asking, how's it wired up right now, volume and tone wise? So this guitar I bought from Eastside Music Supply. Shout out to Eastside, another Mythos dealer, and some really good friends of mine. I wasn't intending on buying a Strat. I'd kind of like thought about getting a decent Stratocaster again, because it's been ages since I've had a really good Strat. So walked in there, they had an SVL, they had some custom shop stuff, an assortment of other things, and then they had this, and it had been modded out. It had the like 65, the Pure Vintage 65 pickup set in it, and it's rewired and whatnot. But right now it's basically wired like a traditional Strat. There's no treble bleed or anything. But the tone cap, it must be really small. I saw that it was all rewired, but I didn't check the value of the tone cap, because check this out. So if we're on the neck and turn the 1347 off, and we're going, now roll the tone back. It's a very right? It's interesting, and it's kind of fun, but it's weird because it's not this stark contrast that you're used to with like a tone knob, where it's, you know, it goes from like clarity to mud. And I'm so guilty on these style guitars for grabbing the middle tone knob instead of volume knob. I do it all the time, and so I'll be playing the normal Strat, and it just goes to, and that's because I've grabbed that tone knob and rolled it down. But yeah, it's a pretty weird. So that's the bridge. So if I roll the tone up, it just kind of shifts the mid-range around. So if I had to guess, it's probably an 002 or somewhere around that value. And funny enough, we're actually working on a variable selectable tone cap that you can put in your guitar and pick values. It's actually in the Revolta right now. Maybe I could play that a little bit later. Lamar asks what Mac I'm using. I have a MacBook Pro from 2019 my old Mac was starting to go, and so I decided, look, this is going to be my main computer. So I just took it and maxed everything out. And it's still a workhorse, but I'm actually getting a Mac Studio because the connectivity of a MacBook for what I have to do now, and like for the podcast and everything, has just gone to a different level. And so I got a Mac Studio that will hopefully interface with all my stuff without any dongles or crap. It'll just work, which is a novel concept. But while I've got the Tone King plug pulled up here, let's try the 1347, but into a more driven sound. So I'm going to turn on some of the drive pedals here. So the built-in drive pedals sound really great. So that's the rhythm channel on the Tone King. But let me turn on Overdrive 2. Let me goose that drive a little bit more. I like Overdrive 2 on this plugin. Really great sound. So let me see. I'll turn the fuzz down on the 1347, put both knobs about 1 or 2 o'clock. Let's see. So I hope that kind of gives you guys an idea of what these things sound like. I think they're a really good pickup set that I kind of threw everything at Brian over at Porter, and I said, listen, like, this is my idea, and I want it to just be like my twist on a Hendrixy thing. And I'm trying to think of a name for these things, and all the good names are taken. Like everything I think of, I'm like, that's perfect. And you look it up and it's gone. But they just really do something interesting. And I think the combination of the bridge being so overwound with this bass plate gives a lot of really interesting character that you don't normally find from a Stratocaster style guitar, because the bass plate, let me turn that overdrive off. Buzz, I'm using the Tone King Imperial plugin, so no relamp. So that is just the bridge pickup. Let me try this lead channel on here and see what. It has that Telecaster thing. You can hear that. That I think, so often we associate that with the bridge itself, and I think the bridge on a Telecaster is a huge part of the sound. I mean, of course it is. It's a chunk of steel screwed onto the face of a guitar. It's going to have a massive impact on the tone of it, but the bass plate on the pickup has an impact on the immediacy of the attack. And let me try to lighten up my touch a little bit, and we'll. So even though I'm picking very lightly, because I'm a really, like, I try to have a lot of dynamics in my hand, but typically I pick pretty hard, and I scrape the pick, and you can really hear that sound when I play. But even with a really light touch, I think you would be forgiven if you thought, oh, that's a neat telly sound, and that was the kind of the hope, because the bridge pickup on a Strat can either really work or just not work at all. And I thought, well, why not combine the pickups that are in this format that I really like? And that's kind of where we landed. The wind cries Mary through the trees after a plate of horse meat. Oh, I'm sure. Oh yes, Paul would love that. I'll text him and ask him. So I have this idea. Colors aged. I think we'll probably just offer like a parchment. This is Fender parchment covers. I don't know. I'll talk to Brian, because how these are going to work, they're going to be way different than the humbucker set. Let's see, does the bridge have a metal plate? Yes, has a bass plate. Love the effect of a bass plate on a Strat bridge, but never have one without it again. 6 is 9. That's funny. But how this set is going to work? So the humbuckers, because I was so, let's turn on some. Let me turn on some effects while I'm yapping. So so how the humbuckers worked is I had the guys at Porter wind me the sets. So I would buy them, and I buffed the covers and then pack them and did the whole thing. But for these, they're going to wind them and pack them and do all this stuff. I'm going to send them all the packing materials. But because of the simplicity of doing a Strat set, which they do all the time, and me being less persnickety of this build, because I used a different spacing bobbin and all that stuff. They can just make it in-house. So what we'll probably do is we'll take an order on our website. I will then tell Brian, like, hey, I got this, and this, and here's where they're going. And they'll either wind them and ship them to us, or probably what makes more sense is we can send them a label, or they just, bill us, and they fulfill it after they wind them. So, like, if it's just a cover, maybe we could offer it in parchment, aged, black, whatever. A single shoals. So that's what we're probably going to do for anything that is not anything that's not hyper specific, like the humbuckers. And the humbuckers, I mean, the last set, or batch we got, took a little while to sell. So I think we're going to kind of revisit the humbuckers and maybe work on a V2 that might be something a little easier for them to make, and then we don't have to inventory them. And so everybody's risk is a little bit lower, all while being able to turn stuff as fast as people want it. They can, if you place an order, it probably will take just like a week or two to get them wound and out the door. So man, you can hear that noise. Tack, tack, tack. Turn all this stuff off before I get too in the weeds. How about we try another pedal? Still stewing on a price point. The price point will be determined, but like the humbuckers were a little bit more than what a normal Porter, like the Anthem, or whatever their sort of normal PAF style pickup set would cost. And so these will be something similar to that. RJ, hey man. So I'm not exactly sure on what price point they're going to be, but if you look at Porter's sets and then maybe round up a little bit, it'll probably be that, because there's not a whole lot of meat on the bone, when you're having someone make everything. So we'll round up a little bit to make it enticing for all parties involved, and it'll still be, relatively affordable. Look at the cost of like Duncan Antiquities. Like a humbucker set of Duncans is about as much, if not slightly more, than our humbucker set we did. So hello, Bo. Hey everybody. Let's plug up a different pedal. Let's try the Hephaestus, because why not, right? Okay. Oh, jeez. Everything is in my way. I am desperately trying to get this office organized. I'm also burning up in here. It's hot. Pickups are expensive. Are they? I guess, they're kind of expensive. But pedals are tough. They get thrown around, tossed, and they don't break that often. I've shipped almost everything I ship direct. I've sent in a bubble mailer, and granted, I wrap it up tight, but I hardly ever have them come back. Okay, here's the Hephaestus, not hepatitis. I know people like to make that joke, but oh, it's so noisy, my room. All right, so here's the Hephaestus cranked. Turn it down. awesome. Let me go back to the rhythm channel here. There it is. You can totally hear why McKinley calls this the devil's saxophone. So that's on the neck pickup with the warning knob at about 1 o'clock. That's kind of where it starts really happening, all the octave down. So again, there's bypass. It's just chaos. But as you roll back, let me turn it down some more. I'll turn it to like 10 o'clock. It's so just insane. Let's try it on the bridge pickup. So that's like, you know, the really weird things is when you go into a pickup position where it's not really octaving. Yeah, that works. But there's still enough like character of the weirdness coming through. Go back to the neck here. It doesn't make any sense. All right, and here's all the way down. So it's just all weird. Let's go to the middle position. Why not? Let's see what happens. Weird. Okay, so we don't make that right now. Let me grab something we do make. Let's see. I got the Wildwood. I got the Positron here. So the Hephaestus. The Hephaestus was our Black Friday thing, and the first batch that were built sold really fast, which was awesome. And then the remaining took a little while, but we sold them after about a week. And there's going to be a few more because we had a few folks want a refund because they, people don't like waiting for. Let me see if I can put this up here so it's easier to manipulate. People don't like waiting for pre-orders, so those we'll put it on the newsletter. So if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, here's what I need everyone to do. There's not many of you here, but hopefully everyone else that watches this, subscribe to our newsletter on mythospedals.com. Subscribe on YouTube. If you don't follow us on Instagram, please do. But yeah, do all the things. We have merch now. There's a merch store with more designs, and I'm going to keep growing that because it's fun. Making shirts is fun. My Strat has some push-pull nonsense. Does that interact badly with the pickup? Should I rewire the whole damn thing? Huh? No. I mean, like, unless you've got some sort of grounding issue, electronically, it's not doing anything bad. I mean, like if you're spreading your signal around a lot, that can cause problems, right? But if it's just a matter of you just having a push-pull pod and a few things running to it, it's not going to be a detriment to your guitar. You know, I don't. There's some of that I don't like, just because I'm picky and I don't want to deal with it. But I don't think it's like a huge tone suck, unless it's like a crap part. But that, you know, that can be said about literally anything. Oh, cool! You can see the pedal right here. That's perfect. So this is the Positron, the new small one. Whoa! And we just did a demo of it, but let's try it with this, with the new Strat set. So like you could get all the, and maybe you could get some of the Gilmore things. Let me turn so as you turn the intensify control up, it's going to add more treble, just like a classic sort of BMP style circuit would do. That huge like violin like sustain. We need delay if we're gonna do this. Let's say click, 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 click. Let's slow that down a little bit like that. And these style circuits don't clean up. Let me turn that mix down a little bit. But so I want to play with the EQ controls. So let me put everything at noon. Eric, thank you. Volume, gain, treble and bass. Let me turn that delay off for now. So the volume's called focus and the gain is called intensify, which is pulled off the, you know, just like parts on proton packs and ghost traps and whatnot. So here is, with the bridge pickup on the Strat set, here's everything at noon with the loud switch up, so it's not in loud mode. So I'll adjust the treble control and you can hear what that does. Now I'll adjust the bass. I turn the treble to about 1. No bass. All the bass. And then, like I said, if you turn that intensify, the gain knob up, you get more treble. So it covers a huge range of sounds just with those 3 controls. But then there's loud mode. So I'm going to turn the volume down to about 9 o'clock. There you go. Now I'm going to switch it on loud. So check this out. So it adds more volume, but it shifts the EQ a little bit and the whole voice. Give it a little more volume. It's being lost to the setup here, and again, forgive the noise. Loud mode off. So it's just, you know, that sort of classic fuzz circuit that the Rams had and pedals like that have. And I really love the Positron and what it does. Because, like, one of my favorite guitar players is David Gilmour, and that's a huge part of his, you know, not the early stuff. That would be more like the 1347. But the later stuff is all that sort of BMP style fuzz circuits. So the Positron is mega fun. But yeah, I'm gonna. It's been about 40 something minutes. So let's open it up to some questions. I want to just mess with the plugin here on the neural thing. So again, I'm playing the Tone King Imperial plugin. Oh, and by the way, when are these going to be available? We're probably going to open up the pre-orders in about a week or so. So that'll be really fun. How's it sound with the fleece? All the other pedals are out in the shop, so let's not hook up anything else, get in the weeds on that. Let's just mess with the plug-in here and just hang out and focus on the pickups for now, because I don't make me get up. How do I feel about both in and out buffers? What's on the webs about buffers on both sides? You mean on like a pedal board, like the importance of having an in and output buffer on a pedal board? Or something in a circuit, like a tube screamer. Like this. You know, okay. All right, let's get real here. Everyone talks about everything you should do. You should take everything with a grain of salt, because everybody is entitled to their opinion. But everybody is just, you know, regurgitating their opinion. For me, do whatever sounds good to you. If you think that, hey, my signal sounds kind of dead once I plug into my pedal board, I would try one buffer. I mean, our buffer is still on sale on our website, on the shop, mythospedals.com/shop. You can get a buffer for a pretty cheap price, all things considered. But you know, you could try it and see what you think. There is no hard and fast rule as to what you should do. You might not like what a buffer does to your signal. If it's at the beginning of your change, it's going to change the interaction between the early pedals in your signal path. And if they're all true bypass, you know, everything kind of after it is going to, it might react differently. You might not like it. So, you know, if you like how your guitar rig sounds, if you like how your pedal board sounds, if you don't feel like it needs anything, if you don't feel like it's losing anything, then who cares what everyone on the internet says? You know, to me, the only thing that matters is how you feel when you're playing your stuff. And if the board isn't taking anything away from your creativity, from your expression, it doesn't matter. I definitely want to put a Mythos light on that wall at some point. I have to figure, I got the new Apple Studio display, so it's friggin' huge. So my camera is now angled. Yeah, people spend so much time looking at what others do. Focus on you. That's 100% it. Because who cares? Who cares? If it makes you happy, if you're happy playing no pedals, good. You know, just do whatever gets what's ever in here and in this out. If a pedal is included, great. If it's not, that's fine too. Oh, someone asked, let's see, who is that? Brad asked the era of Strat. I don't, okay, here's the thing about Fender pickups and Fender guitars. The only thing I know is like the color of the bobbins when they change. As far as like what magnets, winds, I have no clue. And nor do I have any interest. It's more about how they sound. And so whatever they did to get to here, based off my description that I gave them, and I'll have to add, I don't even know what magnet types these are. Then like that's what I'm happy with. As far as, you know, what I was going for, it was mainly the Hendrixy thing. So I assume they probably went with a mid to late 60s sort of configuration, whatever that is. I can't remember. The only thing I've ever really focused on with any major intent was PAFs. But yeah, it was just like I wanted something that had that sort of sound. Let me turn that drive on again. So it can do the, you know, it's a that sort of like Hendrixy thing, which I adore. That's one of my favorite Strat sounds. With the punch and the snap of a Telly style pickup. That sort of thing on the bridge. I wanted that. And then I wanted it to not be reverse wound. So, because that is part of how the sort of 2 and 4 positions, you know, back when the pickup selector was only a 3-way, and you had to force it to go there, the middle pickup was never reverse wound. So, you know, like that sound, I think you really have to have that middle pickup not be reverse wound to be true to that sound. Not that you can't do it with a reverse wound middle pickup, but I thought, you know, why not? That's what I like. The recordings were not reverse wound, so why not? Yeah. Any chance of a 4-conductor humbucker in the future? Maybe. I don't know. Probably not. I don't like tapped humbuckers all that much. What are some of my favorite overdrives? Something that stacks well with the Golden Fleece. I don't particularly like stacking the normal Golden Fleece. I like the AU79 to stack because it's lower gain. But since I'm normally a humbucker dude, stacking with that much gain is a little much unless you're using the pedal after it as a pure booster. But you have to always remember my amp, like with this overdrive on with this in this plugin. Let me turn that chorus off. Like I'm kind of at that level when I play. Let me turn this drive down. When like if I plugged into the 2-Rock behind me or the Soldano or even the PRS, I crank it to get to that. Like that would be my starting point for gain. So most people might have their amp a lot lower. But I mean, my favorite overdrives are Klein style circuit. So that's, you know, the Wildwood Mjolnir there. One of my faves, of course, Rhett Shull's favorite, the Tube Screamer. One of my favorites. I love that. I really like the JHS Overdrive preamp. It's over in the floor there behind me. I'm really digging that lately. And it was weird. I never was a DoD 250 guy. But if you said grab an overdrive, it would probably be the Wildwood or the Olympus. You know, if of anything I have, those would be my go-tos. Lots of bass for a Jimmy tone. I mean, like, I'm playing through a plugin that has not a lot of, has, you know, a lot of low end, even though I've shelved a lot of it. I mean, I think it's very Jimmy-esque, you know. To me, it's like very reminiscent of a Jimmy sound, but you know, there was only one Jimi Hendrix. The amps he was using, the microphones, they all affected like how our perception, especially of low end, you know. Don't be mad. You end up getting these and putting them into a Yamaha Variax. Yamaha Variax, like the Line 6 Variax. Love and mentality on gear. Do you think things? Do you and things will work out? Yes. So much overthinking. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, don't think it doesn't matter. You know, just buy what sounds good to you. I mean, that's the Mythos mentality. Ooh, there's a trademarkable phrase. Has always been just make stuff that inspires me to play and that I like and that I want to play. And if you get to it in a weird way, who cares? You know, who cares what diode or op amp or whatever is in there, as long as it works and as long as it's going to last. You know, I've definitely gone through phases where I've said, well, let's try some cheaper jacks, and I get them and immediately go, this is crap. I'm never going to put this in a pedal. Never, ever, ever. But, you know, don't make compromises on quality, but don't follow trends or history because that's what people think. In anything we do, if we release a tube screamer, if we release, people always ask for a Zonk machine. If we release a DoD 250 or any of that stuff, it's going to be done my way and true to what I think the sound of that thing is, not because that's what the original schematic had. Because who cares? Maybe they didn't know any better. A Line 6 Yamaha Pacifica body. Do it. I'm all about it. Yeah, this into the PRS Hendrix amp, which is kind of obscured by this big arm over here. It sounds really great. It's super, the traditional Hendrixian sound, as Greg Koch would say. But any other questions while we're wrapping up? It's going to do an hour. Sparkle drive, but love the sparkle drive, but not considered a cool overdrive. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Who cares? I'm trying to think of something I like that people will go, well, I mean, the Tube Screamer, if you're Rhett. I think most of my stuff is pretty approachable and normal for the most part. So, but thanks for hanging out, guys. I really appreciate you guys checking out the Strat set. What's a product I wish I had made? There's not really. There's not really anything that I don't think that way. I don't think, oh, if I had done this. There has been a few things that I wish I had beaten people to the punch, because I've had a ton of ideas. When you're driving, to and from work, or just, taking a shower or mowing the yard, you're just thinking like, oh, maybe I should do this and with that and ooh and this. And that, there have been a few things that I thought, damn, if I had actually tried to tackle that idea, I could have beaten so-and-so to that circuit or that product line or that whatever. But I don't think about like, oh, I wish I could have designed this or that, I don't know. Have I tried any of Surfy Bear's reverb units? I haven't. I don't. I'm completely okay playing a dry amp. Reverb is a bonus for me. And the only reverb pedal I own is a Flint that I bought back when I had a Dirty Shirley and was gigging and needed something. And I mainly bought it because of the harmonic tremolo. But I didn't buy it because like I was in desperate need of a reverb. It was more of a bonus from wanting the harmonic trem. So no, I don't really like the thought of having that another big thing that I gotta like put somewhere for reverb is not. If you gave me the choice, like, hey, you can use more cables in another outlet spot, and have reverb, or just plug straight into your amp and not have reverb, I would just not have reverb. I'm totally fine with it. Here, let's turn this reverb off on this. Let's plug in. I'm totally cool with this. It's different in this environment. Man, you can hear that noise. I'm going to work on it, I promise. But in a room, you hear the room has a sound, and it still has reverberations and stuff. And I know it's stark to think, oh, no reverb. But when I'm playing guitar, if I plug into the Soldano, if I plug into the PRS, if I plug into that little Ampeg Jet, which is like a Brown Deluxe, I can play dry, for sure. What's my favorite Mythos drive pedal? Lately, I've really been loving the Olympus. The Olympus is really good. Just feels traditional, sounds slightly traditional, but isn't, something that everyone has made a derivative of. And, it's based off the Gainster Hoochie Mama circuit, which I adore. And it just feels good. It's just a good feeling overdrive under your fingers. No reverb. I'm a brave soul. So yeah, that happened when I bought my Dr. Z. Yeah, let's go to the lead channel. When I got my Dr. Z, it didn't have reverb, and that was the first time I'd ever had an amp without reverb. And it made me play so much cleaner and better. And it turned me into a better player. Not that I am by any means a great guitarist, because I don't believe I am. But I think that took what skill I had and focused it and got me to a better spot as a guitarist and as a musician. And so ever since that happened, I became more and more okay with the idea of, if I don't have reverb, I'll survive. I know I have songs I love the tone on one riff. You have songs that you love the tone on one riff. Is there anything like that for me? Like a riff specific in a song, like not the main riff, but like one little part. Yeah. So I'm bad. I'm nationwide. Let me make this a little bit more stream friendly with the plug-in here. I had the overdrive pedal on the whole time. In the solo break, there's two guitars in that solo. So the solo on I'm Bad, I'm Nationwide goes. How is it? There it is. That's it. It's been a minute. Sorry. I don't think that's right. That's it. My brain just went, and I've completely forgot. That's the solo. That the first part of that solo, I really love the sound that. I just think it's a great sound and a great tone, and it's different. Like the whole, like that whole song sounds like, okay, let's work on it today, and then tomorrow we'll go and do this, and then tomorrow we'll go and do that. But I love that thing. We got there in the end. We got there. But okay, well, that was enough of that. I've embarrassed myself. It's like I'm gigging again, and just oh geez. Emails. Yeah. You want to hear? Okay, last thing. I do this thing that is just a horrible riff, and I've asked McKinley to work it into his playing. Just go. And yeah, I think all of us should try to incorporate that into our playing at some point or another, because it's really stupid. But it would make any guitarist in the room really laugh, which I find. I'm always interested in making people go, what? But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. It was a fun stream. This is, so we did a poll asking people, like, when should we do live streams, and the winner was Wednesday, which I thought was odd, but we're going to start doing this more habitually, and try to keep this going, make it on, get it on everybody's radar, have a consistent hangout. The time may change. We might figure it out. Maybe it happens in the morning, in the afternoon. Can't really do anything too late because I have to go home. But yeah, so thanks for hanging with me, guys. I appreciate you all. Remember to like, subscribe, do all the things on YouTube, sign up for the newsletter, check out the Positron, check out the merch, do all the things, because it's after moving to this new spot, the stakes got a lot higher. So did my stress, and I feel my beard getting more and more white. So anyway, thanks, guys. I will talk to you later. See ya.